It's working properly here, and we can get underway. Test, test. Hold on. Are we getting anything here? Good. Alright, we are live. Let me get my mod view up. Quite a bit late today, for a reason I'll explain to you very, very shortly. There we are. Alright. Let me get my headphones. Oh, that's some pretty solid title screen music. Alright, I'm all about that. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome one and all to the inaugural stream of Spyro Reignited here on the Overanalyst channel. Hey Jester, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. I think this is our first or second time seeing you around. Glad to have you today. Glad to have you. So, we're a bit late starting today. I do apologize for that. Obviously this won't affect you if you're watching this VOD on YouTube. But, I went to put in the game disc for the first time maybe 10 minutes prior to 6 this evening, and there was this installation period the game had to go through. I was used to that, but then immediately afterwards, it needed me to clear out a pretty significant chunk of space in my console's hard drive for a really substantial, pretty, early post-release patch, which just took much, much longer to install than it really should have. So I do apologize for that. I'm going to try to get all my games up and running in advance from this point on. I just think that'd be a good practice. But yeah, here we are. Welcome to Spyro Reignited. Now, aside from watching a friend of mine play a bit of the third remaster, and I do mean a very small bit, on Twitch quite some time ago, I have absolutely no experience with these games. Least of all the remasters. I played the fourth Spyro entry, which was handled by a different series studio on the GameCube, and that game has a very, very poor reputation for, based upon my own memories, pretty well-founded reasons. And then I played one of those really weird, high fantasy, kind of action-adventure beat-em-up titles they released on the Wii. I thought that was pretty terrible too. But this trilogy is apparently fantastic 90s platforming. Innovated, of course, by Insomniac Studios, known best today for the Ratchet & Clank series, as well as the PS4 exclusive Marvel's Spider-Man. Don't know if you guys saw, but at the PS5, hype event that was held yesterday, they announced a remaster that was going to be packaged along with an extensive Miles Morales-centric expansion, as I think a launch or near-launch title. That looks pretty good. But at any rate, Insomniac, suffice it to say, is a very, very well-renowned studio, and this is kind of where they got their start in, big-name games. So, that said, let's dive on in. Oh, we've got to accept all of this. Yes, yes, of course I agree. Sure. Uh-huh. Because nothing gets me in the mood for a light-hearted, fantasy-tinged collectathon romp like Legalese. Alright. Now we get to pick between the three titles. I believe the way this worked was, one studio... MC2M says, yeah, accept our rules or you cannot play. Even for games like this, isn't that wacky? I guess now with everything being integrated into some kind of online service or another, they overload these. Hey, Jester, so we got a question. Longtime fan, whatever happened to all your overanalyzing creepypasta videos? Half the videos are deleted, and my favorite Let's Play of yours, the creepypasta RPG, is gone. What happened? Okay, so, to address this, which I probably should have done more formally, so thank you for bringing it up. I did not delete those videos. Most of them have been unlisted or set to private for now, because I'm trying to come up with some system, whether it be playlists or moving them to another channel, like an archives channel or whatever, of curating that old content that isn't really my focus right now, without having it weighing down this channel that is devoted to only the very highest quality D-list video game streams. So I've just got them sitting off to the side. They're not gone, don't worry, until I figure out what to do with them. And I'm trying to figure out the best way to handle that. I'm thinking either moving them to a playlist that is accessible through, like, the first video alone on the main channel page, and then having the rest of them be unlisted, just like that playlist off on its own, as its own thing. Or moving them off to a side channel. The fact of the matter is, I plan on doing something similar very sporadically at some point in the future, but instead doing it as a live stream, maybe with all of you guys. We go diving into creepypasta and seeing what we can find, because it's been years since I've looked at anything like that. I just understand that, like, the output you would find, even though still not very high quality, got more bland than, like, amusingly, like, kind of rickety, and I don't know about that, but I am sorry if my setting those to private has, like, hindered your viewing experience whatsoever. I'm gonna try to get them back up in some format, as I said, so thank you. And MC2M says, imagine the outcry back in the PS1 era. Oh my god, yeah, can you imagine? Well, I remember people would go to the mat over DRM back in the day, and now that's just a commonly accepted thing, even though it doesn't work half the friggin' time. Alright, so without any further ado, we are going to dive into the first entry in the Spyro the Dragon trilogy. I think the remasters for the first two games were handled by Toys for Bob, and the third, Year of the Dragon, was handled by Sansaru Games, a studio that specializes in ports and remasters, but also, largely as a passion project, created the fourth Sly Cooper title, which was phenomenal. So, high hopes for all these. Oh, that's a good sign, just block text on black background. Okay, but no, to be fair, I have seen what this game looks like in motion, and it is incredibly beautiful. Like, once everything loads and you get into the environments, what they've done is really quite amazing.
Okay, rolling.
It's been peaceful here in the Five Worlds, or is it 6? For a dragon's age, we now have 12,000 treasure, or is it 14,000?
What about this Ganasty Ganok character? Now, I understand he's found a magic spell to turn gems into warriors for his cause.
I'll take that question. Nasty Nork is a simple creature.
Simple?
He has been contained in a remote world and is no threat to the Dragon Kingdom.
No threat?
Besides, he is ugly.
Ugly? That does it!
I love all the little motivational posters around his cell here.
Huh? Looks like I've got some things to do.
Yeah, I can already tell this game's going to have a lot of character and charm. That's going to be nice. Also, let me know how the audio balance is. If I need to turn up the game audio or my own, just let me know. Oh my. Oh, you guys, look at this. First of all, the color palette really pops, and I appreciate that, but also just... Yeah, Jester says this shit looks smooth. It does. It looks like a really high quality... Lots of people, you know, want to say like a Pixar movie when they see something that's animated really well and is bright and colorful, but this looks almost more like a DreamWorks picture to me. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Obviously, we've got our standard movement. We have a little glide. Doesn't look like we can adjust like the pitch of the glide right now. Oh, MC2M says, a bit louder audio, please. You got it. Just something you've got to adjust every time you play a new game, of course. Hold on. Audio mix. Let's try. MC2M says, to me it looks like a Unity project with a blender. I don't know. All I can say is it looks absolutely gorgeous. Alright, how's this? A little bit better? Okay, so let me see what all I can do here. So by pressing the circle button, we can breathe fire. Why would you ever want to do anything else? Oh, well, to catch some enemies, apparently. By pressing the square button, we can kind of ram. That seems to have quite the charge on it. Oh yeah, this reminds me of the kind of games I would play as a kid. MC2M says if those two softwares are well used, you get good-looking games. Well, apparently so. This is gorgeous. Let me see, do we get anything for, like, burning plants or... no. I also appreciate, for being a platformer, and this comes from somebody who really likes well-developed stories in his games, but being like a Collectathon mascot platformer, it gets right into the action. And please let me know, of course, if I need to increase the game audio any further as we go along. We're going to be talking to some of these dragons shortly, but hold on, let's do that, I guess. Oh, we get a trophy already. Hop, skip, and jump. Don't know how I feel about that, but it unlocked a brand new level. Check that out. Jester asks, so what games are you excited from the one showcased at the PS5 Reveal Conference? Okay, so I really like that Miles Morales is getting like his own little expansion as part of the Spidey remaster, but I wished it would have been announced as like a standalone title instead. Or like, you know, a proper sequel. Oh well. The Horizon Zero Dawn sequel looks amazing. I'm trying to think here. That new platformer by the Little Big Planet devs, Media Molecule, that looks pretty solid.
Your horns on, Spyro. You have much to learn first. Do you know what the dragonfly following you is doing?
Look at the animation on these characters, man.
Helping and protecting you. Keep an eye on him and see what I mean.
I think Ghostwire Tokyo looks really, really good. Is this... yes. Oh, so we can, like, replay the dragon's cutscenes and advice. That's kind of useful, I think. So, yes, the goal of this game, I do know this much, is to rescue all of the different dragons who've been crystallized by Nork, the goblin-looking thing. And each of the dragons live in a different... or sorry, each class of dragons lives in a different hub world. This kind of bright, cheery, medieval-looking world is home to the artisans, as you can see. And we have a helpful little tally present in the pause menu for every single stage. I'm going to be relying on that heavily. So we want 100 gems and 4 dragons here. I'm going to try to collect just about everything I can, as long as it doesn't result in a stream that's really... really boring for you guys. MC2M says Stray seemed a really interesting PS5 game. Yeah, it did. That's a... I kind of forgot about that one, but you're absolutely right. And Jester says, the Morales games was announced as a standalone experience, not an expansion. It's kind of like the Undead Nightmare in that Uncharted side game. Yeah, no, that's right. But still, I was hoping, oh man, is this a sequel? Because they built so much stuff up. Hopefully we're still going to get a proper Spider-Man sequel, because I adored the first game.
10 dragons in the artisan world, then find the balloonist. He'll transport you to the next world.
What about nasty Nork?
Looks like every single dragon, and there are a ton of them, believe me, has a unique character model. Righteous. Jester says Red Dead Undead Nightmare, I mean. Oh yeah, I know. Believe it or not, I know this is heresy, but like, I just had this terrible habit of picking things up and not finishing them. I played Red Dead Redemption, the first game. Absolutely adored it. Let's be a proper dragon and torch some sheep. Lovely. But I never finished it, even though I made it to the Mexico arc, which I absolutely adored what I saw of it anyway. Nor did I play Undead Nightmare, even though I own it. I've heard very good things, though. Oh, here's the balloonist. I guess this is where we go to get transported to the next world. And Jesus, look at this! Even the water, usually one of the hardest things to get right in a game that isn't heavily based around aquatic exploration, looks beautiful. Realistic? No. Beautiful? Yes. Oh my god, look at this. We're gonna have fun, guys. I'm certain of that. Well, since this is our hub world, and we have like 2 more dragons and like 42 more gems to get, I suppose we'll collect them as we return, but let's take a look at one of the stages proper, Stone Hill. That is an adorable little loading screen. Jester says, I'm excited for Pragmata, RE Village. Oh yeah, the Demon Souls remaster, with you on both of those. The Little Devil Inside, not seen anything of that. Kana and Deathloop. I've heard great things about all the games listed there. I'm really excited for the new Resident Evil and the Demon Souls remaster, my god. I can interact with the loading screen? Had no idea. Okay, so we seem to be in another, like, kind of medieval courtyard. And I guess since we're in the Artisan's Kingdom, they have this lovely little crest with dragon wings and a paintbrush. You could tell lots of care went into the details of design, and that's a ram. That is a very angry ram. So what are we looking for here? A dragon egg, 4 dragons, and 200 gems. Having come off of Ukulele, I already feel like I've got a lot of good experience that'll assist me in preparing for... my RAM is stronger than yours. Preparing for a collectathon like this. Because Ukulele was just ridiculously large. Sprawling game, really. And the worlds here seem a bit more narrow and intentionally designed, so... Give me just a second, guys. I just got a message from my boss. Sorry about that. We, had midterm essays come in a couple days ago, and... well, obviously we're gonna need to touch base on how we're going to be scoring those or making adjustments, particularly to the grading scheme for the pandemic. Fun stuff. Oh. Looks like the wizards, shepherd wizard things, are antagonistic. Not that dangerous, though. Just love the way everything's animated. The world is full of so much life. I can't think of a, like... of a game that does the, like, pseudo high-fidelity, Pixar DreamWorks animation thing quite this well that's been released in ages. Maybe the last one I can really clearly call to mind is Ratchet and Clank: A Crack in Time. Jester says, oh, I'm a teacher now, or a TA? I am a graduate student in history, specializing in indigenous Pacific societies and histories. And I ultimately want to be an instructor at the collegiate level. So I'm fortunate enough to work with my my advisor, who's also my favorite teacher of all time, as a teaching assistant, and I've been teaching with her, or more or less independently, for the past year. It's really, really cool.
Gliding. You bet. For the longest glide, press the jump button at the top of your jump.
and try pressing the action button to drop down mid-flight.
Alright, that's 1 of 4. And I suppose the fairy tops off your health. Right, so we want to practice gliding, do we? Yes, we do, because there's gems over here. Shoot, there's just so much to this game. MC2M says fairy is the checkpoint. Okay. I've heard that these games, particularly the later ones, are a bit harder than they look, but oh, there's our egg. I think. Get back here. Oh, this is adorable. There we are. MC2M says, also the animation is matching the original ones, but more vibrant. I see. I will say, Spyro controls insanely well. You would expect this to be kind of slippery, or at least his standard movement even to be a little floaty, but it's really not. That's very impressive. Oh wow, and would you check this out? There's stuff absolutely everywhere. With over 100 levels in this trilogy, I get the feeling we're going to be here for a while. There's the final dragon we'll want to free. See, this is the way I like my stages designed in a platformer. It's fairly small, but exceptionally dense. There's a lot of things to do, but they're not spread out over just an insane distance. Oh. Down into the well, and here's our second dragon. No, 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 no. Oh, hey there, Ben. Good to see you. We didn't start that long ago. We had a delayed start this evening because I had to install the game, which took longer than it really should have. And then we discovered there was like a 5 gig patch that took much longer to download than I'd expect. So this is the very first stage.
The dragonfly, Spyro. His color indicates his power. When he eats butterflies, he stays strong, like me.
Sure.
Thanks, belligerent drunk. Okay. Maybe we have to come back later for this? Or, hold on. Well, clearly, none of the tools we currently have can crack this. I don't think. So we'll have to come back later, I presume. I do know we should get additional abilities and the like at various points in this game. It's not going to be like Ukulele where they just shower you with cool new abilities all the time. But some. So these, without the padlock, the standard metal chests are resistant to fire. Ben says, awesome. Yeah, no, glad you could join us. I hope you enjoy the stream. It's my first time experiencing any of these. And so far, I'm just blown away by the visual design, and particularly the animations.
Not that you ever run into trouble, Spyro.
Now I think the final dragon is right through here. Oh, and extra life, I believe, in that chest inhabited by a sentient creature that we just killed. All right. MC2M says, yeah. Oh,
Dragon
and
has
we've
to
already
use
freed the
this
Elder.
fancy vortex thingamajigger. It'll take you back to the artisan home. But first, let me tell you a story.
No thanks. See ya.
Well, Spyro's a little dragon after my own heart, then. Oh, let's check this out. Goodness gracious, y'all, there's stuff everywhere. Oh, I think I'm gonna like... And here's the key to that chest at the bottom of the well. Oh, this is my kind of game. Yes, sir. I also got it in yesterday. Have the remastered Crash Bandicoot trilogy, which I would also love to play for you guys at some point. MC2M says, by the way, all this was also in the original. Yeah, I get the impression they didn't add a whole lot of, like, completely original content, but they added a brand new coat of polish to absolutely everything. Okay, now we are missing 7 gems, and by God, we're gonna find them. Easiest way to do that, of course, would be to head to higher ground. One has to wonder what purpose a place like this would serve. I mean, clearly these dragons aren't warriors, except... Oh, I got the sheep kebab trophy. That's lovely and not horrible. Well, actually, I could really, really go for a sheep kebab right about now. It's one of the things about a more restricted diet due to the pandemic. Man, I miss my slightly more exotic meal choices. In particular, goat. It's been ages since I've had goat. Far too long. Also, I can promise you plenty of directionless rambling due to the collect-a-thon nature of this game. Okay, can't go past the pylons there. Oh, there's another. Yeah, so I'm guessing all, or practically all, of the remaining gems are going to be somewhere up here, along the periphery of the stage. Yep, there we go. Oh, that does a completionist's heart good. And another extra life, just for killing so many sheep. Right on. Oh, and a seamless transition back into the loading screen. That's beautiful. But will this have any environment, like, aesthetically potent, resplendent enough to rival Galleon Galaxy's core design, like, philosophy? I do not know. I can tell you that's going to be a really tall order, though. Do you happen to have any more gems for us, sir? No? No, that's a shame. Alright, so next I think we ought to check out this stage that we opened up by... Oh, so Spyro cannot do water at all. Okay, I did not know that. But I do now. I'm sure there will be a way to open that in future. MC2M says no water support in the first game. And Mr. Fiddlescruff asks, first off, good to see you. Welcome to the stream, Mr. Fiddlescruff. Secondly, they ask, what is the actual premise of the game? I just tuned in and it looked like you just mugged that Shrek-looking guy. Well, Spyro is an extremely simple game that allowed us to get more or less right into the action. We live in a kingdom of comparatively pacifistic dragons. One of the dragons insulted the leader of the Shrek people in a television interview, and so all of the dragons have been turned into crystal through the television, and now we have to rescue all of these kind of charmingly worthless and eccentric dragons from the Shreks. that is the basic premise here, and it's insane, and I love it. There is basically no real context. Right, Sunny Flight, let's... Is this going to be one of those fabled flying stages I've heard so much about? Mr. Fiddlescruff says, oh, so genocide. Kind of? Maybe? I don't think you have to kill all the Shreks. Oh, MC2M says, Norks. Right, hold on, I'm getting a phone call, I'm sorry. Sorry about this, guys. Usually my phone isn't this active. Okay. Sorry. Okay, we're good. Yeah, no, I know they're Norks, but in my headcanon, it's just much funnier to call them Shreks. Okay, so this is a flight stage. The goals here, based off of what I saw from my friend playing a bit of the third game, I think it was the third anyway, are very simple. You fly around a big open area with a strict time limit, and have to pass through several gateways, and burn a bunch of stuff to the ground, such as these Shrek trains. We're destroying their infrastructure, but we don't care because presumably there's a dragon somewhere around here. Oh, and luckily, when you're flying like this, Spyro's little gouts of flame do seem to track nearby, targets. There we are. And of course, you receive more time for completing certain objectives, like smashing Shrek trains, or, smashing chests like that. Whew. Now, typically, in a stage like this, based off of what I recall, all of your objectives should be placed in a fairly linear manner, allowing you to progress from one to the next, to the next, to the next. Don't know that we're going to get it this time, we almost certainly will not, but I'm learning my way around these types of stages. There's the last Shrek train. But now look, these Norks, or Shreks in my headcanon. Oh, we actually did get them. They're perfectly harmless. They were just trying to maintain their infrastructure on this little island, and some of them were having a very pleasant time flying their apparently completely unarmed planes. And now they're all dead. Ben Pendrigan says, I think Ripto committed dragon genocide, though, because genocide doesn't always involve killing. Very true. And I guess if all of the dragons save Spyro have been turned to crystal, yeah, no. The nasty Nork did the same. Exactly, as you just said. And MC2M says, congrats, getting everything in the first try is hard. It was kind of just due to sheer luck, but thank you very much. We're good, then. I think we have everything we need from that stage. Now, one thing I'm interested in seeing, I remember watching them a very, very long time ago, not from the Reignited trilogy, but from, I think, the originals. But I've heard tell that the bosses in this game are insanely simple, like almost insultingly designed. Very poorly designed, actually. I'm interested to see if that's true. And MC2M says you also have barrel rolls in loading screens. Oh, nice. Now, if you notice, that Shrek in particular was cowering in fear of us, so we're definitely the heroes. There's another extra life. I think we're going to run into, like, New Super Mario Bros. / Yoshi's Island territory before long. Where we have, you know, about 8,500 lives and hardly ever lose any. Well, there's so much to explore, let's just keep on trucking.
Hey, Spyro, press the jump button twice to glide. And don't be afraid.
Afraid? Of what?
Falling from high mountain peaks? Plummeting into prehistoric glaciers?
Oh.
Oh, I love the animations on these older dragons. The loot, though, the loot as a principal instrument, that dragon's gonna need some work. Maybe we could get him a keytar or something in the sequel? Something with just a little more funk to it? Right, so obviously we're going to need to jump from a greater height to hit that one. Oh, I see. I see. The tower is going to provide us an updraft, like the one in Stone Hill did. Right. Really like the design of these overworlds so far. Very compelling. Giving you plenty to do and a pretty good reason to do it. Very true. MC2M says to Benjamin Pendragon, I simply found a streamer playing Hand of Fate 2 and decided to stick around. You found a completely clueless streamer who was desperate for advice and were kind enough to offer it. So no, I really do appreciate, well, I appreciate having all of you guys around, but thanks for watching, thanks for staying, really. Whatever the reason. And yeah, if you couldn't tell MC2M, this stream is frequented by my, like, IRL friends and colleagues. So the town square, okay. Oh, we got barrel roll. I'm never doing anything else now. That is a lie, because fire is awesome. So let's see what's up with this stage. I love the aesthetics of a nice sunset now. Alright, so what are we looking for? Another 4 dragons, 200 gems, 1 egg. That seems to be kind of the gold standard around here. So Ben, to your question, to Mr. Fiddlescruffs, I wonder which of us the friend and which is the colleague. You guys are both fall into both categories. Friends, principally, but we do also all work together.
Town square, Spyro. Begin exploring by gliding to that area with the bulls. Use the right stick to get a good look.
So, I think the game's trying to intimate to us that gliding is kind of important, seeing as they've dropped a couple subtle hints about gliding since we started up, so I don't know if you guys caught that. Mr. Fiddlescruff said, come on man, those chickens had no place in this war. Well, you see, the larger, more dangerous animals typically provide gems when slain, whereas the smaller, completely innocent ones provide us with health, meaning we have an incentive to kill almost anything we see on sight. Just like a real dragon. Well, Western dragon, anyway. When beyond the confines of its horde. Mr. Fiddlescruff says, you had full health, didn't you? Spyro can neither confirm nor deny that he had full health at the time of that incident. So Ben, to your question, no, not at all. I was using the terms friend and colleague collectively to communicate to anybody else who's joining us from elsewhere around the world. And at least on VOD, we do have quite a few people that would fit into that category. That these are people I both work with and interact with outside of work. NC2 says, what are friends and how do I buy them? I'm sure EA will have some kind of payment program released for their next live service. Don't worry.
Pressing the jump button at the very top of your jump.
Jesus Christ, Sugar Dragon, yes, I know I can glide, thank you. Oh. Is that a Matador Shrek? Is that... Oh, this is brilliant. Well, let's see what he can do without, Alright. The answer is not a whole lot. There's the, egg thief. Who does not appear to be one of the Shrekkin. Almost. I'm sure there's a better way to get over there. And I believe I just saw it. Or no. There we go. Trophy earned, leaf on the wind. A lot of trophies in this collection. As seems to be a general rule with a lot of remasters. Whoa. Whoa! Lord! Okay, I can see how we're gonna have to play these sections. Gonna have to glide our way back up there. Speaking of which, did you know that I can glide the farthest if I press the jump button at the very apex of a jump that I've already begun? I don't know, that's like some high-level play. I just kind of figured that out. There we go. Our second dragon egg. MC2M says, to be fair, this is a game aimed at kids. Oh, I know, I'm just having a little fun with it. Like, you think maybe some of them would give you a bit more flavor about the areas you explore, and I based off of what I've seen from my friend playing, again, I swear it was Year of the Dragon, there is some more of that in later entries. Just not in this one. Mr. Fiddlescruffs asks, what does the egg do? I honestly have no idea. I just know that they are listed as collectibles, and oh!
Did you see a man dressed in blue?
A dragon after my own heart.
And he's stolen a dragon egg. You've got to track him down and get that egg. Run, run! I'm getting a little winded.
Did he shish kebab meat and peppers on his tail? That is beautiful. No, so to answer your question, I'm not certain what the egg does. I just know that they're listed as collectibles, and I'm trying to 100% every stage. I'd imagine they serve some kind of purpose if you collect all of them within a given overworld. MC2M says, yeah, no, like a lot of games like this, eggs are to be collected. That's really the long and short of it. They tell me to collect them, and so I do. Now, I think when I was hurriedly chasing the egg thief, yeah, we totally missed this area over here. So real quick, I want to check something. Good, you can do like a charge jump. Right on. Fiddlescruff says, wake up, sheeple, and MC2 says, what other purpose would you need in a collectathon? Well, I think if you collect X amount of eggs and other goodies in the game, you do unlock like a special world or something. Maybe I'm thinking of a different game. Crap. Let's try that again. Using our glide. Which enables us to travel farther if we jump at the very apex of another jump. Just so you know. Mr. Fiddlescruff says they ship you a dragon egg IRL. It's just a very, like, shoddily painted emu egg. A relic from the Great Emu War. There we go. MC2M says, I would enjoy a large omelet. Oh man, same. Been ages since I had a really good omelet. So that bowl had 10 gems on him. He was loaded. Alright, Thor, what you got to tell me about my glide, brother?
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. You can always check your progress by accessing the guidebook through the pause menu.
So that's not just me, right? That dragon was drunk off his ass. That was the actual context of what was going on there. Spyro doesn't get paid enough for this. It's time to go home. MC2M says, and the guidebook is great. Is that just the standard pause menu, or is that something... No, it's something I access a little deeper in, right? I'll check that out as soon as we land. Oh, here it is. Oh, look at this. It actively charts your progression through each world and stage, and it also allows you to fast travel. And there's skill points. Oh, this is interesting. So we may have to go back later on to do all these. Wait, skill points? Man, those were some of my favorite parts of Ratchet and Clank. So, for the uninitiated, in the incredible weapon-based action platformer Ratchet and Clank the original, though I think all of the first 3 titles this holds true, for the PlayStation 2, you could perform, like, kind of special little feats, usually totally untelegraphed, out in the world to earn skill points, which you could exchange late in the game for upgraded versions, like really game-breaking versions of your standard weapons. Particular weapons. I love that principle of like old-school game design that dictates that not only should... There we go, we got all the gems here. Not only should there be lots of fun, kind of optional things to collect or earn, but those little special collectibles should also serve a purpose.
Cool flash. Do that again.
The artisan's boss is through a portal behind me. You can challenge him now, if you feel you are ready.
Thank you very much. Toasty. Well, we'll come back for him last. MC2M says, yeah, they added skill points in Spyro 2 originally. Did not know that, but I'm glad to see them here. And the idea that there's like one per stage is really neat, I think. So let's check out Dark Hollow. We're making good progress, gang. And I'm so glad to have you all with us this evening. I know we got a late start, so I appreciate everybody being patient with us. And Mr. Fiddlescruff says sound safe. Probably is, actually. I don't know, so far most of what we've been doing in this game is finding Shreks, living their best life, and destroying them, slowly but surely. So Ben says, I like how old games like Morrowind felt like you should be able to get game-breaking buffs if you dive super deep into the lore mechanics and side quests, right? I enjoy typically games that are ostensibly open world or exploration-based or role-playing based that allow me to explore and have fun with the mechanics instead of attempting to curate my entire experience. I remember in Oblivion when I was younger, I abused the heck out of the spell creation mechanic to create like projectile spells that would instantly raise every character's perception of me or opinion of me by like 50 points out of 100 or whatever, or instantly paralyze opponents. It was just a heck of a time. And finally, we see the Shreks starting to fight back against this wanton persecution of their people. So far, if you recall, they've kind of just been living their best lives, and we've been destroying them. I do see there's a proper Shrek up there. Big old mutton leg and all. So just 3 dragons and 100 gems. A shorter stage. We'll need a key for that. So no joke, I actually really do like the design of the Norks. They're kind of these lovably goofy but terribly expressive goblins. They have a lot of character and a lot of charm, like most things in this game that I've seen. I can definitely see why my friend absolutely swears by these games and has since she was little. Oh, okay. So, was not expecting him to attack that quickly, but... Ben says, yeah, like, magic should be difficult, but game-breaking, or else it ceases to make lore sense. Absolutely. I'm thinking, Skyrim in particular, they seriously nerfed the way a lot of magic mechanics work, right? Not to say that, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, Ben, they say, I care more about world building and consistency than balance, so do I. In Skyrim, they ridiculously nerfed most schools of magic, and, well, with the exception of the conjured weapon skills, those are still amazing. But as a result, magic was largely kind of a waste.
Their metal armor is fireproof, but a charge attack will take care of them.
Oh, so I thought I could do something by, like, overheating their shields, maybe to cause them to drop them, but no dice. Alright. Oh my god, I have a roll maneuver. Tactical action Spyro. Check that out. Fear me. Great use of that metal shield there, guy. Another trophy, light my fire. Okie dokie. Not complaining. Oh. That one, it appears, can only be harmed through fire. MC2M says, the magic of magic was removed since Oblivion. Amen to that. I absolutely loved building a really strong mage class, or a spell sword, really, in Oblivion. It's what I used on the playthrough I logged like a couple hundred hours on when I was younger. But Skyrim, it's just not the same. Every time I've had to take a run through Skyrim, or the 2 or 3 times I should say, I've consistently stuck to a stealth-based class that really heavily leans into the conjuration school just to get like a really powerful bound bow and subsequently unlimited ammo, but that was it. Okay, so come on, big guy. Give me your worst. That's enough to just straight up kill him, poor guy. I really like this stage. It's combat focused and compact, and
This Nork with the club cannot be charged, but a quick flame, that should defeat them.
thank you, very white looking dragon. He had the rose, he had the facial hair, nice. Ben asks, did you ever play with mods? There's a great one called Spell Research that fixes this. No, I didn't. I actually own Skyrim on the PS4, so unfortunately the only mods I have available to me are curated by Bethesda's Workshop. I have played Oblivion with mods, though. And the same friend who absolutely swears by the Spyro trilogy. When we were younger anyway, she, modded Oblivion pretty extensively herself. So I played with quite a few Oblivion mods, including a fantastic one that allows you to play as a Knight of Order. One of my favorite minions in the entire series, and servants of one of my favorite deities in the setting, Jigalag. Right, okay, so I'm trying to... Do I need to ram you head on, or what? Do I need to overheat your... Oh, I just need to hit you from the back with fire. Gotcha. Ben says, oh god, PS4. Now, to be fair, the most offensive thing about, like, the complete edition of Skyrim on PS4 is that, it's just Skyrim again instead of another proper single-player RPG from Bethesda. Mr. Fiddlescruff says, cool how you've rescued over a dozen dragons so far, and they all just peace out instead of helping you rescue the rest. To which MC2M says dragons are lazy. But Mr. Fiddlescruff has a great rebuttal. They're making the smallest one of them all do the work. Yes, this is essentially like asking your infant child to do your taxes for you because, well, you got caught in traffic the other day and you'd really have to rush to do it right now. So, but the kid's been home all day, though, so can't they help out a little bit? I mean, they've stayed alive the few hours you've been gone perfectly well, so they might as well. Should be able to. MC2M says child labor in the world of dragons is a thing. Oh, tell me about it. Poor little Spyro has been having to shill really subpar, live toys games for years now, and poor guy's been reduced to serving as the, well, one-time mascot of a really watered-down Diablo clone. Poor kid.
Spyro, wanna know a secret? Use the action button when you want to zoom in and look around.
Oh, your secret's safe with me.
I do appreciate that they tutorialize you in a fairly fairly incremental way. Like, we're not just thrown into a tutorial zone that forces us to very slowly take in each and every function we can perform at a time, one by one. Instead, you rescue dragons who then give you little tool tips that are especially relevant at that time. Mr. Fiddlescruff says that honestly just sounded sarcastic. Me or the dragons? Because I will tell you right now, Spyro is a sarcastic little so-and-so. Oh, here we go. Silly me. The dragon. Oh no, yeah. Yeah, I think, just based off of what we've seen so far, we're going to come to the conclusion that the dragons are either completely incompetent or completely horrible. There will be no middle ground. And Ben says, my problem with PS4 Skyrim was specific to how they kneecapped the modding scene in the way I explained above. Yeah, that's right. They, specifically, according to Ben, their words, but I've read about this previously, didn't let you have mods with any of the assets. That included meshes, textures, even scripts. And yeah, no, I will say it ran much better than the PS3 release, but that ain't saying a whole lot. I've got to properly finish Skyrim, though. I made it to the very beginning of the Dragonborn DLC, which is based around one of the Daedric princes, which are easily the best and most compelling aspects of that game world's lore. And I've just never, really taken a deep dive. Mr. Fiddlescruff says you'll be 90% done with the game and they'll tell you, move the joystick to make Spyro move around. Nah, man, they're gonna be telling me about glides straight up until the day we yeet ourselves off a cliff with the glide. MC2M, of course, quotes the infamous, "It just works." Sometimes. Sporadically when it feels like it. And, so you know, most of the times they release updates for well, most of their games, I'm thinking Fallout 4, Fallout 76, Bethesda's fixes usually actually just end up breaking other things. Ben says Fallout 4 and Skyrim Special Edition was really stable compared to Skyrim Classic. Yes, it was. Fallout 4, I remember, had some issues with, like, integrity right around the time it came out, but generally it's been pretty solid, you're right. Also, I'm very surprised that we have not received an announcement regarding, like, a Skyrim re-release on PS5 yet. I'm just flabbergasted. MC2M says, I hated Fallout 4. I actually kind of liked it. Not as much as New Vegas, of course, nowhere near. But I thought it was perfectly fine. Ben says, I got maybe 2 crashes the first time I played, and I have mixed feelings on Fallout 4. That seems to be like the general consensus, that it's... And I will say that, it feels smoother incrementally than previous Bethesda games, but it also lacks a lot of the depth or... Well, I say depth or complexity, but hold on, I'm just making sure we've got everything. Good. Alright. I guess we're ready to take on the boss. But the game that I would hold to be the very best in the series, New Vegas, was developed by the incredible folks at Obsidian Entertainment, who have a very different, and I would say superior design philosophy to the folks at Bethesda. Okay, now it's time to take a look at Spyro's first boss. Now, I've heard and kind of recall from gameplay footage I watched of the original years ago, terrible things about the bosses. So let's see where we're at. MC2M says, I come from a Fallout 1-2 era, so I couldn't stand it. Dog not dying when I shot him on sight was jarring for a Fallout? Jesus. And Ben says, Far Harbor was excellent, so that was the most redemptive aspect. And I hope you guys don't mind me calling you by, like, shortened versions of your full screen names for time's sake. So, oh look, we have more peaceful shepherds and their hounds in this legitimately absolutely beautiful area. I'm just going to be gushing over this series' visuals straight through. So we have 1 dragon and 100 gems. Oh my god! How did the dog survive? How did the dog survive where the shepherd did not? Oh, it homes. It's a homing doggo. Time to use that dodge roll. Oh, Lord. Look at me not doing well. MC2M says, keep in mind Fallout 1 had dog meat, which was a pain to keep alive, and it had a full story. Yeah, no, I've heard really, really good things. Well, we've already taken a ton of hits. That is a great sign. A platformer that actually requires you to use, like, a dodge roll. I was not expecting that. Something tells me the dogs are going to be way more difficult than the boss. Oh, and they're everywhere, y'all. What is with these guys? Love all the art on the walls, though. Ben says, while New Vegas is my favorite as well, because they're much better at character writing and faction lore, but 3 and 4 have better environmental storytelling, in my opinion. I'd say, broadly speaking, that's fair, if only because the Mojave is a little bit more sparse than, like, the Capital Wasteland. And MC2M says, and in Fallout 2 you have Pariah Dog, basically makes the entire party and enemies jinxed. Ooh, nice. Dude, how do you think this is gonna go for you? Seriously? Ben says sparse is precisely what I mean. However,
Nasty Nork is putting his most devious henchman in charge of the artisan world.
Bring him on. I think I smell barbecue.
Be careful, Spyro.
I will say New Vegas had a much... Well, no, I can't say much better because I loved the soundtracks for both games. But I think Fallout 3 did a perfectly fine job with Three Dog and Galaxy News Radio. But to bring home that Vegas aesthetic, hiring Wayne Newton to voice Mr. New Vegas in, New Vegas, was a phenomenal casting choice, and he turned in an excellent performance. Ben says, conversely, the sparseness of the Mojave might have provided the blank slate needed for the modding scene to be inspired and vibrant. Very true. If there's one thing that, like, episodes like the disastrous Dark Souls remaster, or I think PC port have taught me, it's that modders typically do their best work where deficiencies exist on the part of the original devs. Ben says all the radio stations in New Vegas were great. Yes, they were. Absolutely phenomenal. Even, what was Tabitha's? Was it Black Mountain Radio? That was comparatively entertaining as well. So here's our boss, Toasty. So I like the design. It's a scarecrow. MC Toom says, but what if the sparsity of New Vegas was meant to be a desolate desert? I think we're talking more about like the density of actual content, like places to explore, quests to undertake. And yeah, they tend to be a little bit unevenly distributed in New Vegas. But what is not unevenly distributed are the damn cazadores, which are everywhere and probably shouldn't be. Oh, what the hell? Okay, so are you gonna... That's a goat. That's a goat on stilts, it looks like. And this is our first boss, eh? Keep in mind, I have, like, absolutely... No, this is one of Nork's most intelligent, devious minions. Alright. Keep in mind, due to needing to work out how to dodge the dog's attacks, I have no reserve hit points. Ben says, I mean the density of assets. You can have a desert be spatially interesting. Agreed. I would agree with that. And, oh, don't give me a trophy for that. Burnt toast. Well, that I am taxonomically obliged to say was a boss fight. That's what that was. Yeah, I think my memories of the original game footage I saw were correct. That was terribly disappointing and extremely redundant, even for a simple platformer like this. There should be just a little bit more in the way of testing the mechanics we've learned thus far. Like, the boss itself did absolutely nothing. Despite having a pretty solid basic design, like, I like the idea of this kind of threatening-looking Scarecrow Reaper being piloted around by a little farm animal. But you could have had it actually do things, send out attacks or area denial maneuvers that would force us to actually demonstrate we've learned how to really dexterously control Spyro, instead of just have us fight several dogs at a time. Not super impressed with that, but again, the overall environment design and the design of the stages themselves so far, from a mechanical perspective, I think is really top-notch. So we're probably just in for a game with great levels, charming characters, solid mechanics, and pretty poor bosses. MC2M says and has to emphasize, I know child game, but. Like, the bosses present in Mario games, Sonic games from this period. I think this was right around the time that, or near the time we would see the first Sonic adventure. They weren't this, they incorporated bosses that were more mechanically complex. You can have something that's easy or simple, but still tests what the player should have learned up to that point. And MC Tomb says, and the dogs are horrible as a kid, at least in the original. I played it as a kid. Well, as you can see from my experience, I was getting just destroyed by them until I figured out how to nail my, or how to nail the dodge move. But with that, I do really like the little dragon portcullis design. So now that we've unlocked just about everything here, I think. Yeah, that looks right. Let me check something. Not now, apparently. I think we're good to go on to the next world. We should have collected everything here. Please feel free to tell me if I'm missing something blatantly.
Wow, I see.
MC2M says, yep, we're good to go.
Dragon, Spyro. You may travel to the Peacekeeper's world if you like. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, sure, let's travel to the Peacekeepers. Installing? Okay.
Hop on, Spyro.
Oh, this is so weird. It's installing a new world. What on earth? So I'm clear, everything loaded before I started the stream up. I'm at a loss. Give me a quick minute. Hold on. We're going to go check out our downloads. Oh. Oh no. Okay. So, I just noticed something. This game, y'all, is installing in 3 separate stages. One from the disc, a second, which was pretty sizable, about the size of, a full PS4 game, a pretty decent sized one. A second, that was like a post-launch patch, version 1.03. Okay, fine, that's a few more gigs. That's what I was downloading prior to the stream and why we had a late start tonight. But now, after all that, like, typically, for the uninitiated, when you install a game on PS4, there's the initial download, then any, like, patches or updates that need to be installed. 1, 2. Now it's installing an even larger chunk of data that represents, I guess, the entire first game. I'm at a loss. I really, really am. So we're just kind of stuck? Jesus, I'm so sorry. I did not expect this. I mean, it's a beautiful game, so I guess that would explain it being very, very demanding. Yeah, MC2M says, I did not know this. Yeah, no, man, it's, hold on, let me check for you. So the original was like 35 some odd gigs, which is pretty standard for a mid-size PS4 game. Then the update was like 6 gigs on the nose, which that's a pretty hefty patch, but not like just insane. This, what it's installing now, is another 36 gigs. Which means, cumulatively, if I'm doing the math right, the Spyro collection altogether is going to take up almost as much space as Final Fantasy XV with all of, what game? This game. That's the reason I can't progress right now, unfortunately. It started download. Apparently, this thing installs instead of in two separate disbursements, 3. So I downloaded when it copied from the disk, that was 35 plus gigs, which took some time to install. Then the stream was late tonight because it had to install a 6 gig post-launch patch, which, it's pretty big, but not, like, ridiculous, I guess. But now, totally unbeknownst to me, after installing the update and all that, it's installing another 36 gigs, so larger than what was on the disk. And that's why we can't progress. I'm so sorry. But I was not expecting this whatsoever. MC2M says you installed The Sims. Congrats. It sounds like it. It sounds like it. But no, that means, if I'm doing the math right, Spyro Reignited collectively, and that's assuming it's not going to install even more data if I start playing the second or third game, is almost as large as Final Fantasy 15 with all of its various, like, 6 or 7 DLCs attached. And right about as large as Witcher 3 with Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine. Can you believe that? Crazy, right? AAA games, you never disappoint. Right, so I guess this leaves us at something of a crossroads. I mean, what do you guys think? Should I cut the stream here and maybe come back later tonight if it happens to install in the next hour or so? Or I guess should we just stick a pin in this until tomorrow and maybe start an earlier stream? Like, if you guys would like, I could start maybe around, say, 3 instead of 6. And we could do like a double length stream. What do you think of that? I'm just so sorry that tonight's stream got thrown off track, especially after I took the day off yesterday. And it's so pretty, too. I was having such a great time. Ben says I can't come that early tomorrow. Roughly what time, then? What time would be best? We're just doing the standard, maybe before 6, but after 3? Something like that. MC2M says I'd be down for early tomorrow. So maybe 4 or 5? 4 or 5 Central, of course. Alright, go right ahead. And of course, I'll be more than happy to send you guys links to the YouTube channel where I'm hosting VODs to allow you to get caught up on anything you miss. Man, this is a real shame because especially compared to like Ukulele, which was, a good fun time, I've been loving this. This is one of those rare games, like A Hat in Time got a similar reaction from me, as did, Ben says you'll have to start without me and I'll watch the VOD. Okay, that's perfectly fine. So I'm thinking then we'll drop in or start around 3 CST or CDT, whichever one we're in now. I've been in isolation so long, it kind of doesn't matter. That fine with you, MC2M? Like around 3 hours earlier? And we'll run for something total, like maybe 5-6 hours. I'll probably stop for a quick break for dinner and like maybe a shower or something and then hop on after about an hour. Yeah, that'll be fine. All right. Thank you guys so much. I am, again, terribly sorry to anybody watching this in our audience or the VOD after the fact that we're going to have to cut it here because of this unforeseen issue with tech. I promise you, when I play the Crash Bandicoot trilogy, I'm pre-installing all that. Yes, thank you very much. Take care, Ben. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. And MC2M, thank you for reminding me. We do have a Discord now. There is a permanent link which will be available on my twitch.tv page, so twitch.tv / the Overanalyst. And you can from the channel bio, click on the link, and be taken to our Discord, the Overanalyst Atrium, where I'll be hanging around to chat with you guys, maybe share funny videos or images or something like that once in a while, or just chat about games. With the announcement of the PS5 kind of launch library yesterday, there's going to be a lot to talk about. I do look forward to that, and we will see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central Time for hopefully a double-length stream of Spyro, because, God almighty, this is a fantastic game. It looks beautiful, there's a lot to do, the environments are insanely well and intentionally designed. As much as I liked Ukulele, which, believe me, despite all my jokes, I genuinely did, I think this is going to just blow it right out of the water and demonstrate the very, very best those old-school PS1 platformers were capable of. So I hope you'll join us as we journey a bit deeper on. Thank you all so much if you happen to be watching this live on twitch.tv, for joining us in the audience this evening, for sharing yourself and your time with me. And, of course, we will see you tomorrow, or if you're watching this VOD, I'm going to upload it concurrently with the super long stream, so you can jump right into that if you'd like. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care. We'll see you. Bye-bye.